Martha Stewart is a living legend who beckons us with her mouth-watering recipes. But what about when there are no cameras around? Does she secretly stuff her face with greasy fast food and glazed donuts? Or does she eat exactly like we'd expect Martha Stewart to eat? Let's find out. When it comes to green juice, Martha Stewart is very serious. Describing her morning ritual, she's made it clear just how important it is to her.
I start the day off with it every single day. If I don't have it, I miss it. And I really find that it has great benefits.
She views it not only as a part of her diet, but also as part of her overall beauty regimen, saying, "Green juice is very important. You can be the most beautiful person on earth, and if you don't have a fitness or diet routine, you won't be beautiful." Her go-to blend includes ingredients fresh from her greenhouse or garden, and she explains, "I grow my own spinach all year round. I grow my own mint, my own parsley, generally my own cucumbers, my own oranges, and lemons. And I always put an orange or a lemon in the juicer for that fabulous taste." She might also throw in ginger, celery, papaya, watermelon, or pear. If you have to stick with a morning tradition, this one sounds pretty delish, right? No big surprise coming from Martha.
Thank you, darling.
Why would anybody ever eat anything besides breakfast food?
People are idiots, Leslie.
It's not always just a glass of green juice in the morning. Stewart makes a point of having a big breakfast from time to time, but doesn't overdo it, writing on her blog, "I happen to love a good full breakfast. Not every day, because I certainly do not need carbs and fat and sugar too often, but once a week or so, when I have friends or family over for a delicious feast before a horseback ride or after a vigorous hike." She goes on to describe a rather elaborate and drool-worthy menu that she might serve on such an occasion, starting with homemade cappuccinos from the machine installed in her kitchen that can foam milk to a silken froth and create drinks that would make my favorite barista in New York City proud. From there, it might be poached eggs or a frittata, buttermilk biscuits or popovers. But lest you think she's above serving pre-made foods, she shares this tip for easy entertaining. "My favorite croissants are made at the Petrosian Bakery in New York City, and I keep several dozen in my freezer to reheat as needed." On the subject of guilty pleasure foods, leave it to Martha Stewart to be both totally relatable and rather unrelatable at the same time. On the one hand, she's just like us. On the other, well, you be the judge. When asked about her snacking habits, she revealed to Town & Country, "My guilty pleasure is not at all interesting. It's a spoon of really good organic peanut butter, or a slice of American cheese from my housekeeper's drawer. I steal American slices sometimes, in the plastic. It's so horrible, but it's such a good snack." That's pretty relatable, right? While yes, she has to get the cheese from her housekeeper, who can't get on board with sneaking a slice out of the fridge or eating peanut butter from the jar.
Working on my night cheese. Jack? Do you know what time it is? I was sound asleep.
I heard you singing night cheese.
But then we come to what she prefers as a pre-bedtime treat. "I eat pickled herring as a late-night snack before I go to bed because it's savory and good. I like liverwurst, and I know how bad it is now. I love squeezing it out of the tube and just eating calf's liverwurst." We were with you on the peanut butter and American cheese, Martha, but you lost us at pickled herring and liverwurst. Those of us who are not Martha Stewart might think twice about bringing certain foods on a plane, obeying the biggest unwritten rule of air travel: no stinky food allowed. But when you are Martha Stewart, you bring smoked salmon and hard-boiled eggs on a plane. And you even bring some for your friends. She filled the New York Times in on her eating habits at 30,000 feet, saying, "If it's a long flight, I'll take some very good food that I know I'll want to eat on the plane. I might make a delicious smoked salmon sandwich on 7-grain bread. I might take a tabbouleh salad. I take homemade yogurt with applesauce. I try to avoid plain food most of the time. I just don't find it very appetizing. And my hard-boiled eggs are just so much better than any eggs on the plane. They're from my own chickens. I take them for everybody I'm traveling with." But how does she get it all through security?
Is your bag, sir?
Yes, it is.
We'll have to hand check it.
Go ahead. I have nothing to hide in my bag.
Come with me, sir.
A glimpse into the real life of Martha Stewart is as jaw-dropping as you'd expect, with whirlwind days of good food, hard work, and a jam-packed schedule. Any given day seems to bring something totally different, but it always sounds incredibly delicious. Stewart ran through a day in her life with Harper's Bazaar, and on that particular day, she didn't have time to make herself lunch. Thankfully, she has people for that, saying, "I record my radio show, and my staff makes me a nice lunch in the kitchen. Usually fish, whatever's freshest and line-caught, and a salad. I drink water and herbal tea, a blend of catnip, elderberry, and horehound." On another day, Stewart's lunchtime was decidedly more relaxing. She wrote for The Cut, "It was just me in the kitchen today. I had my chairman for lunch, and we had the most delicious lunch. I brought in fresh artichokes from my garden. We steamed artichokes, and we had whole-curd cottage cheese, which was from the farmer's market, and a salad of fresh corn, red and yellow peppers, and cucumbers, and the artichoke, and a vinaigrette for the artichoke. It was really good."
It's a little bit spicy.
A little, well, isn't it always? As they say, muy caliente.
Whether Stewart is entertaining at home or hitting one of New York City's hotspots, you can bet dinner is going to be amazing. She writes in The Cut that her workday ends exactly as we'd expect, with upscale restaurants. I go to Sushi Yasuda or Kurumazushi once a week. I went to Le Bernardin last night and had the most delicious dinner. I love most of Daniel's restaurants and Jean-Georges restaurants. Oh, I love ABCV, the new vegetarian restaurant by Jean-Georges. And Dinner Inn, it's just as Martha as you could imagine, Stewart told Harper's Bazaar. For a dinner party at the farm, I might prepare homemade fettuccine with porcini mushrooms, soft-shell crabs, spinach from the garden, and lemon tarts with wild strawberry for dessert. I do paellas on a grill at my East Hampton house, and lobster when I'm up in Maine. I have a giant lobster cooker where you can cook hundreds at a time.
Court dismissed! Bring in the dancing lobsters!
Stewart isn't a heavy drinker, but she does enjoy a glass of wine or a cocktail from time to time. After all, it is part of her job. Not only does she taste test all her recipes, but she also personally chooses each wine for the Martha Stewart Wine Co. You won't find her day drinking though. She admitted to The Cut, "I never drink wine before dinner, ever. I couldn't function for a second if I had to drink it at lunchtime or something like that. I remember when I was a stockbroker, we used to have drinks at lunch, and I couldn't do that now for anything, but it's only at dinner, and only a glass or a glass and a half of wine. I don't drink a lot, but I love good wine."
Okay, cut up a bourbon.
That's 2 cups.
That's 2? Is that really? So I'll do.
Dump it in.
All right, thank you.
When you bake as much as Stewart does, you're bound to indulge, and that's perfectly fine with her, as long as there's a balance. She explains her way of thinking in her book Clean Slate, saying, "I've always tried to eat healthy. I grow just about everything I eat. I'm not a fanatic about it at all. Everyone is going to eat a piece of cake now and then. I don't believe in cutting out any food entirely like butter, sugar, or cream. I just eat less of those favorite foods if I'm watching my weight."
How is this a child-sized soda? Well, it's roughly the size of a 2-year-old child if the child were liquefied. It's a real bargain at $1.59.
One way she keeps her sugar habit, which she admits is her biggest indulgence, in check is by only eating it in dessert, writing on her blog, "I probably eat more sugar than I should, though I only eat it in desserts. I made blueberry crisp recently, but I used blueberries I grew myself." So what we're understanding here is that homegrown blueberries basically make dessert a health food? If there's one thing Martha Stewart loves, it's a good cup of tea. Stewart has been a fan of this aromatic drink since her childhood, and in an interview with Epicurious, she said that even growing up, she always drank her tea with a bit of lemon. She likes several types of tea, but what does she love? She was pretty partial to a tea served at her now-closed Martha Stewart's cafe. She told Eater, "My favorite tea of all is our breakfast blend here at the cafe. This tea is very similar to the one I found at Fortnum and Mason. They're famous for their tea, but they have one tea called Fort Mason. It's a black tea with a little bit of lemon that you barely know is there. I'm always trying tea." She added that she also loves matcha, buying the expensive tea in Japan, and in case you're wondering, she doesn't like it sweet. She says it's because she doesn't drink sugar. Martha Stewart loves a good cappuccino. Her love for the creamy caffeinated drink started during her first visit to Rome when she was just 19. She told Epicurious about the visit, saying, "I ordered a cappuccino, and it was the best thing I'd ever tasted. I was hooked."
Well, if no one's gonna drink this, maybe I'll just... Ugh, that's terrible. That's...
What's a true coffee aficionado to do? She purchased machines and began to make the drink at her office and at home. Now she enjoys a daily cup of this creamy caffeinated brew. She tells The Cut that every morning she likes to have a half shot of cappuccino, a small one with whole milk. And she enjoys making it for others too. She says, "Generally before I leave my house in the morning, I make 4 cappuccinos. 1 for me, 2 for my housekeepers, and 1 for my guard. Neighbors stop in, the Clintons stopped in one day for a cappuccino with their guards, you know, people stop in for coffee." Martha Stewart knows how to really indulge, so it's no surprise that she loves the food at luxury restaurants, Nobu, helmed by world-renowned sushi chef Nobu Matsuhisa. At an event celebrating Nobu downtown, she was quoted as saying that she wasn't just a big fan, but that she'd been to all his restaurants. She's a frequent diner at Nobu 57, and she's so familiar with the restaurant's fare, her favorite dish isn't even on the regular menu. Lucky for fans, she shared the secret on an episode of the show, The Best Thing I Ever Ate. The dish in question is sukiyaki, made with Wagyu beef. What is that? Sukiyaki is a type of hot pot where thinly sliced beef is cooked with vegetables and broth, right at the table. In a clip on Facebook, she calls it exquisite. Holidays are a time to indulge for all of us, and Martha Stewart is certainly no exception. One of her most popular holiday indulgences is her version of mashed potatoes. You may think potatoes aren't that indulgent, but that's only because you've never had them quite like she makes them. Using a trick handed down by her mother, she adds 8 ounces of cream cheese in addition to the butter, milk, and heavy cream. She serves this delicious dish on Thanksgiving, which she has called her favorite food holiday. She also has a love of latkes, though her family recipe has a twist. Served with sour cream and a bit of pink applesauce. She says, "The potato latke recipe is my mother's and has beer in the batter. It's delicious." Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more MASH videos about your favorite TV chefs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.